Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. Breaking news is that Manchester United have bid officially for Andre Onana. It was £34 million bid plus £5 million in add-ons, but straight away it has been rejected as per Fabrizio Romano. But the good news is, he says negotiations between Manchester United continue for Andre Onana. The deal is absolutely on. And I do want to say right at the start of this video, might get a few people excited, is that we've actually had it. I mean, we'll see what happens, but we've had it that Onana will sign for Manchester United. It is just about getting the fee right now on this, and that both parties want it to happen. It's just about finding the right fee. Inter currently wants €60 million deal with add-ons. Manchester United are obviously looking at around €40 to €45 million at the moment, but I think this deal will happen. Erik Ten Hag is really pushing for it to happen before pre-season. He wants his keeper in before pre-season. I think this is going to be the next signing after Mason Mount. And yeah, obviously, yeah, I know a lot of people in the chat are already talking about Mason Mount 7, and we will, of course, speak about that a little bit as well, but I just want to get your thoughts, and obviously my thoughts on everything that's happening with Andre Onana. We obviously did have Ben Jacobs we had Ben Jacobs on the show. I can't remember if it was a Twitter space or if it was a show, but we had Ben Jacobs on the United Stand, and he did say that Manchester United probably are not going to go and bid for Onana before they've spoken to David De Gea. My kind of thing now is, have we spoken to De Gea? What is going on with De Gea? We've had no clarification whether Man United are speaking to him, whether he's still kind of in the equation. I'm assuming now, if we've bid for Andre Onana, and obviously, you know, the United Stand and Mark has kind of been told that this deal will happen, I assume that David De Gea is going to leave. I assume, well, he isn't a Manchester United player right now, but I assume that there's not going to be talks for a new contract, which is honestly, it's just frustrating the way that it's happened. It's not happened in the most respectful way. It's not happened nicely, but it is what it is. And it looks like Andre Onana is going to sign for Manchester United. And what is super exciting as well is that Romano now is kind of indicating that Onana wants this move. He wants to come to Manchester United. Erik Ten Hag massively wants it. So I think it's going to be a great move on all parties. And I'm really, really excited for this to happen. And yeah, a lot of people talking about Mount 7. We're going to speak about that. We're going to speak about Mount getting the number 7. But what are your guys' thoughts on Onana? I honestly think Onana might sign. I think he's going to sign before pre-season. I think he's definitely going to sign before next week. What you've got to remember in this deal is, one, Inter Milan owes Manchester United money still. I think they still owe us about £47 million from the Lukaku transfer. Inter Milan need money desperately. We spoke to Ben Jacobs about this. Skriniar has gone on a free, who they were planning to sell last season. It didn't end up happening to go to PSG. They literally have to sell to buy. They really want to get Lukaku in. They're trying to push Chelsea into doing a loan because they can't afford to buy him. They are really tight on money and they have to sell players. Ben Jacobs said they wanted to sell one of the big stars anyway this summer, whether it be Lautaro Martinez, whether it be, you know, Andre Onana. It looks like it's going to be Andre Onana. So Man United can afford to be, you know, a little bit pushy on this. They can afford to kind of get that price down. I honestly think that 45 million will do it. 45 plus 5, this is euros by the way, 45 million euros plus 5 million euros, €50 million package could do it. We might have to push to 50 to 55, but still when you think about it, let me actually have a look how much 50 million euros is in pounds, because it's still not that much money for a keeper that is going to suit Erik Ten Hag's system down to the ground, and he's going to start for us week in, week out for years to come. That's £42 million. €50 million is £42 million. I think that's a great deal. I honestly do. So get your bets in when this is going to happen. I think, you know, we could get another here we go in like the next couple of days. I think maybe Friday we could get this. But I know you all guys want to talk about the Mount 7, but while I speak about the Mount 7, and I will go into it, let's get a poll going in the chat, and I want to know from you guys, when do you think we'll get the here we go for Onana to Manchester United? I'm going with Friday. Let's put a few options in the chat. We can have, you know, this week, the weekend, next week. Let's get the options in and see what everyone thinks. We've got a super chat in from Wyatt Anderson. Beth, you are so beautiful. Sorry for the hate that you get for doing. Wait, God, I'm trying to read this out. Beth, you're so beautiful. Sorry for all the hate you get. Keep doing. Some of us appreciate it. Also, thoughts on Mason Mount getting the 7. Well, thank you for that comment very much. And obviously, everyone's allowed an opinion, and you know we've got to respect everyone's opinion, and that's what it is. I'm just trying to do my best and talk about Manchester United and talk about transfers, which is absolutely what I love doing. I can't wait for the season ahead. But let's see what everyone says in the chat. A lot of people saying Friday minimum. Everyone's getting excited about this. But thoughts on Mason Mount getting the 7? Let's talk about it because I know everybody wants to talk about this right now. My thoughts are, I really don't like it when we sign a player and there's instant negativity. You know, Erik ten Hag really likes his player, clearly. We've heard about all the news of Erik ten Hag pushing for him. We've now heard news come out that Mason Mount was on City's radar, Spurs' radar. Arteta and Klopp both spoke to him, tried to get him to join. Poch wanted to keep him. So they're top managers that wanted Mason Mount. Also Tuchel at Bayern Munich, there was indication from that. Mason Mount chose Manchester United because of Erik ten Hag's project. I know Mark spoke about this. Erik ten Hag clearly sees a vision for Mason Mount. If he's getting given the number 7, he's clearly going to be a huge part of this team. He's going to be playing week in, week out. Of course, is he the finished article yet? No. But I think there's a player there that is very quickly going to become good for Manchester United. 2 Player of the Year awards. He's won the Champions League. Everyone forgets that assist to Havertz to win the Champions League. He was a crucial part of that team. Every manager he's played under loves him. I mean, have you seen the stats as well? Since his debut at Chelsea, he's like first on like nearly every stat. It's like started games, goals, assists, chances created. He's super, for me, like athletic, but he's also really technical as well. I was watching Mark's show before and he said, you know, he does like to play in transition, possession-based football. We need to work on that. I think Mason Mount can play possession-based football. His retention obviously does need a little bit of work the same way, you know, a lot of players in our team do. But I really do think he's definitely less of a risk taker than Bruno, and I think they're going to complement each other really well. Such a workhorse. I think he's going to be great. The number 7, I've got to admit, when I first saw it, I was shocked. I was like, that is really, really, really bold. Like, giving Mason Mount the number 7 is super bold. I know a lot of people are like, you know, you have to earn that shirt in Manchester United. Should it be going to a midfielder? But if that's what Erik ten Hag is signed off on, and that's what it is, then that's what it is. I wish Mason Mount the best of luck with the number 7. I think he's the first midfielder to have the number 7 since Brian Robson. Obviously, we know he looked up to Ronaldo when it comes to his free kicks. I bet he's absolutely buzzing to get that number 7. And if he wants that 7 and he feels like he can carry the weight of that shirt and he can perform, honestly, I wish him nothing but the best of luck, because it's an incredibly special number to wear for Manchester United. And the one thing I don't like is I don't like people already saying, oh, it should have gone to Garnacho. Mason Mount, why is he getting the number 7? Obviously, you're allowed your opinion, and I can completely understand why people wanted Garnacho to get it and why people thought Garnacho was going to get it. I thought Garnacho was going to get it, and it would have been nice for him to get it, but not everyone can have it, and Mason Mount's got it, and I think now we know he's got it. We've got to be positive. We've got to get behind our player. And, you know, he's not even had 1 minute of game time in a United shirt yet. So I think we need to lay off the negativity. We need to be positive and get behind our player, if I'm being honest. And let's see what everyone's saying. I know a lot of people aren't happy about Mount getting the 7, but you know, he's got it. So let's get behind him. Let's get behind our player. And isn't number 7 a winger? Traditionally it is, but you know, if Garnacho got it, it would have been great. And I think the one thing I would say, if you're wearing the number 7 shirt for Man United, you need to be starting week in, week out for me. Garnacho isn't quite starting yet, is he? Next season it might be different, and I think he would have taken that shirt on. I think he would have taken it with confidence. He has that arrogance. I think eventually at some point in his Man United career, he will probably be the number 7 at some point. But right now, he's obviously, we've opted not to give it to Garnacho. He was under consideration. We've opted to give it to Mason Mount. This is the situation. And you know, it's a number at the end of the day. It would have been nice for Garnacho to have it, but it doesn't mean he's going to be any less of a player. If anything, at 18 years old, it takes the burden off him a little bit. And I also looked at it like this. Giving Mason Mount the number 7, I think it doesn't like offend, not that it should be an issue, but it doesn't like knock confidence to Garnacho or Sancho. If you were to give Garnacho the 7, you know, not that he warrants it at all. I don't think Sancho warrants a 7, but we know he's been always after that shirt. Would he have felt, you know, a little bit like down if Garnacho would have got it when he wanted it and he's had a bad season already? Not that that needs to be taken into consideration. If that happened, going to Mason Mount, he's a midfielder. It's nothing to do with the forward players. So Mason Mount 7, it has happened, and I wish him the best of luck, and I really hope he embraces that shirt and he has a great Manchester United career. I am very, very positive, as you guys know, that I think Mason Mount will be a great signing for United, and I think he'll do really well under Erik ten Hag, but we'll see. MVP says Anthony should be our number 7, probably. He's the right winger. Well, Ronaldo was the left winger and he had number 7, so, do you know, it's only a number, everybody. But I'm happy, you know. I was shocked. I was really, really shocked. I know a lot of people, Garnacho is such a fan favourite to get the number 7. He's such a fan favourite and everyone thought he was going to take it on. But he's only 18. He's still got years to go, and it's not going to affect his game. If anything, he's just got to keep working hard. And Mason Mount's got the 7, so I'm excited. But let's see what the poll is saying. When will we get the Onana deal done? Before Friday, weekend, next week. I'm going to say weekend. Let's see what everyone's saying. Next week is 53%. Before Friday is 25%. Weekend is 22%. But I do think this will be soon. And what you've got to get into consideration, guys, is, you know, Manchester United go to Oslo. They play the first pre-season game of the season next week on the 12th of July. The United stand will be there. I'm hoping Onana's going to be there because I want to see the new signings. I know Mason Mount's going to be there. So pre-season starts next week for Manchester United. The first game of pre-season in Oslo is the 12th of July. Is that against Leeds? Am I right? I'm just asking the producer. Is that against Leeds? Against Leeds. So it's going to be interesting to see who kind of starts that game. You know, at the moment, what keeper's going to start? Dean Henderson doesn't want to be here. He wants to leave, and that deal is going to happen. Tom Heaton, he's probably the only one eligible to start, isn't he? And he's not going to be anywhere near first choice. David De Gea is genuinely not even part of the club anymore. The way it's happened is disrespectful. I completely agree, but he's not here, so he can't play. So Erik ten Hag's going to want to get his keeper in. So I think he's going to push this through the club the same way, you know, we pushed for Anthony last year and he was pushing for Casemiro. Let's see what you guys are saying. We've got Silva Kumar. 7 was always with Eric Cantona, a member for 25 months. We've had some brilliant number 7s at Manchester United. It's a lot of pressure to take on. It is a lot of pressure to take on, and it's bold, especially considering, you know, the fan base has been on the fence about Mason Mount anyway. Obviously, you guys know that I absolutely love this sign. I think he's going to be brilliant, but I know quite a few of you guys are yet to kind of get on board with it, and you know, he's got to prove himself to a lot of the fan base. So it's a lot of pressure, but it's going to be interesting. I hope he hits the ground running. And Callum Huddleston says hopes Mount starts next week when we play against Leeds. Beth, yeah, I think we'll have to see how things go in pre-season, see how players are going, but it'll be interesting to see what kind of team gets put out there straight away. And Stefan NG says, why is Mount wearing the 7? Stand by for Rage Fridge video tonight. I'm not actually sure what Mark's thoughts are on Mount getting the number 7, but it's going to be interesting to see. I just don't think we should have negativity around it, is what I would say, what I was thinking. Garnacho should wear 7. Let's see. So let's get a poll in the chat. Of if you are happy. Actually, no, because it's just I was going to do a poll about if you're happy about Mason Mount getting the number 7, but I feel like it's just destined to be a landslide of no, and I really don't want the negativity. But you know what? Everyone deserves an opinion, so let's get it going anyway. Also, do you think Varane is going to get the number 4, or is he going to keep the 19? Because we know he wanted the number 4 when he came in, and then Phil Jones refused to give it him, which was, for me, just really pathetic. I'm not going to lie. Like, it was pathetic. Phil Jones was nowhere near going to play. He should have given that number to Varane, I think. I think he should have done. But anyway, he got the 19. So you would assume that Varane would want to pick up that number 4 now it's available. And I thought what I thought was going to happen is I thought Varane was going to get the number 4. I thought Mount was going to get the 19 because Mount was 19 his whole career at Chelsea, and then Garnacho was going to get the number 7. That seemed to make sense in my head. But then again, nothing ever makes sense at Manchester United, and I think we're all very shocked about it. So I think Varane might get the 4. What number's Garnacho going to get? Do you reckon he'll stick with the 49? Do you reckon he'll move to the 19? Interesting. It'll be interesting to see. Garnacho will get 28, some people think. Let's see, I've just got something coming through here for you guys. Okay, so Romano has he replied to one of our tweets? Yeah, he's replied to one of our tweets and said that, so our tweet, the United Stand, which was, you know, giving out information surrounding what Fabrizio Romano reported, we said negotiations between Manchester United and Inter Milan continue for Andre Onana after the 34 million bid plus 5 million in add-ons was rejected. Deal is still absolutely on. That was from Romano, and we tweeted out on the main Manchester United Twitter account. Fabrizio Romano has then replied to us and says, it's a very open dialogue. Clubs are in contact. Man United will speak to Inter again soon. So again, this backs up what Mark was saying a little bit earlier. We've basically been, we've been told that this deal is going to happen. It's just getting the fee right. And I think we're going to get the fee right on this. It's just about coming to a compromise with Inter, who Man United know need the money. and Man United need to save money because our budget is strict. There's going to be a bit negotiating here and there, but I expect this deal to happen quite quickly. And I think Onana's probably going to be the new number one. And I know a lot of people are on the fence about this. It's a huge transition, especially after David De Gea being at the club for 12 years. And it's going to be interesting next season. A new number one. Mason Mount's got the number 7. The club is building. And Erik ten Hag is really kind of getting into the swing of things now of building his squad. And I'm going to be honest, when I was thinking like a couple of weeks ago in the transfer window, I was really, really like bleak about what was going to happen. I thought it seemed like we had no money. It seemed like we weren't moving. It seemed like we weren't selling anybody. And let me get this straight. We've not been as effective as what we should have been in this window. Nowhere near it. Other clubs, again, have outdone us. Other clubs have outshone us. We've not moved well. We haven't. But at the end of this transfer window, and depending on what times they come in, you know, if you get Mount and Onana done before pre-season, you've got 2 signings in then, which is, I think, 1 more than what we had going last year. I think we only had Malacia last year going. But you've got Mount, who's going to start with the number 7. You've got Onana, who's obviously going to start. He's going to be the starting keeper. And then if you tell me you get a striker, and then we've now been linked to another midfielder, Amrabat is one high up on the list that Erik ten Hag really rates, that isn't looking like a bad summer. Because if I told you, you know, last season, what are the weaknesses at Manchester United? What are the weaknesses in the starting 11, which is what Erik ten Hag is he's trying to better our starting 11. Because bettering the starting 11 automatically betters the squad because players have to move to the bench. So you look at it, you say, Weghorst isn't good enough, and Martial, you know, he's always injured. So you would say the striker. We haven't gone directly in for a striker yet, but we know we're going to go for a striker. People would say, you know, Eriksen can't play 3 games a week. He gets tired after 70 minutes. We need an upgrade. We need more legs in midfield. We've gone and got Mason Mount, which, without a doubt for me, is definitely an upgrade. I like Eriksen, but it is an upgrade. He's got more legs. He's technical. I like it. And then you say, we need a backup for Casemiro really, really badly. Because if Casemiro is injured, we need someone to play that role. McTominay isn't good enough. If we do go for that second midfielder, like we talked of getting Amrabat, and it's a big if at the moment because we've got to sell Fred, we've got to sell Donny van der Beek, there's ifs there. But if we manage to do that, that is great. It really is. And then obviously we know that Erik ten Hag wants a keeper that can play out from the back and play his style. Then you've got Onana in. So that's the spine of the team. You've got 2 midfielders, if we manage to get it, a striker and a goalkeeper. The only position I would say arguably we would have needed as well is the centre-back. But for me, the centre-back can wait because you think about it, you've got Lindelof, who we know Erik ten Hag rates, and had a really good second half of the season last season, and I thought stepped in really well. And Varane and Martinez are obviously going to start. You've got your 2 starting centre-backs. So, to be honest with you, it's a lot of if, buts and maybes, but if we progress the right way, the way that the talks was doing at the moment, it could look like, you know, we have a good transfer window under Erik ten Hag when it comes to incomings. I've still got massive question marks on whether we're going to get the outgoings done because we are really, really terrible at that. And I still stand by the fact outgoings and discussions and, you know, players leaving should have happened at the end of the season. It never should have got to this situation with David De Gea. It never should be at this situation with Maguire where we've still not had clarity with Erik ten Hag and Maguire whether he's going. You know, McTominay, is he up for sale? Is he not? We keep hearing conflicting reports. So that all should have been sorted at the end, but I'm starting to get a little bit more confident now within our transfer window. But that was a little bit of a rant, but that's what I've been feeling, so wanted to get it out there. Jack Bertel says, Varane number 4, Ahmad gets the 19 back again. That could definitely happen. I really hope Ahmad becomes part of the squad for next season. I really do, honestly. I really hope he gets given a chance. We'll see him in pre-season, I'm sure. Justin says, if De Gea stays at United, I'll slide into your DMs. Trust me, you won't be the only one. You will not be the only one. You know, if De Gea stays, he stays. And if he stays, then I trust Erik ten Hag in what he's doing. But obviously, at the moment, it's very clear that Onana is his first choice. And I'm backing the manager in what the manager wants to do. But I can understand both sides of it. You know, people are going to be nervous about transitioning. We've had the same goalkeeper for 12 years. And there's been some really good times. There's been some bad times. There's been some really good times. Erik ten Hag feels like there needs to be a change. The way it's been handled by the club is not good, but if the change is needed, then the change is going to happen, and I back Onana and I welcome Onana. I think he will massively suit the way Erik ten Hag wants to play. Jesse Sphere says, what are the remaining signings you feel that we need? Did I not just tell you? I feel like we need another midfielder. This is granted, this is me thinking we're going to get Onana, Mount's already over the line. We need another midfielder. I'd love Amrabat or Lavia. Personally, I prefer Lavia, but I think he's going to go to Liverpool. But Amrabat would still be a great signing. We need someone who can sit instead of Casemiro, someone who can be the Casemiro understudy and be that squad player for him. We need a striker massively. And I don't know why, but the last couple of days I'm still kind of holding out hope that maybe we go back in for Harry Kane, potentially. Especially after what Mark Ogden said yesterday. He said that no matter what, Levy won't let Kane go for free. He wants to get money for him. To be honest, he might end up going to Bayern Munich, but at the end of the transfer window, if Man United try something, there could be a possibility. But even if we get Højlund or another striker been linked to, a striker is needed. And as I said, I would have loved to get a centre back in, but the funds just aren't there for that. And I'm willing to wait for that. I'm willing to wait. Abby Anhad says we should get Onana for free. They owe us so much from Lukaku fees still. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that, but I mean, it would have been good if we could have wrote that off in that way. Let me just check I've got all your chats done here. Don't want to miss any of them. Yeah, I think I've got them all. But one thing I want to ask you guys, would you prefer Amrabat or Lavia? Because, like I said, I think Lavia is going to end up going to Liverpool. There's talks that, that deal's kind of heating up. Man United, Romano said to us on the show, if we do go for another midfielder, it's going to be late on in the window. We know how quick Liverpool move. If Liverpool move to Lavia now, he's going to take that move. And United haven't sold, so we physically can't do it. We physically can't go for another midfielder until we sell Van der Beek, Fred, or McTominay. We just can't. The money's not there. Or, even Dean Henderson. Money, some sort of money needs to come in for us to move for another midfielder. And it was said that a midfielder needs to leave. So I think Lavia is going to go off the market before we could get him. But at 19 years old, I do think that would have been like the perfect player to go for. Watching him for Southampton last year, he was someone I was super, super, super impressed by. So Lavia for me would have been great, but Amrabat playing for Morocco, again, brilliant. He's been great. So either or would be great. I would have preferred Lavia, but both can do the role what we need to do. A lot of people saying Amrabat anyway in the chat. I know Amrabat is a little bit more popular. For me, Lavia, I think Amrabat's probably the better player now, but when you look at the ceiling, 19 years old, being the Casemiro understudy, it could have been such a nice transition, really nice transition for, working under Casemiro and fulfilling that role. Let's see if any news else has come out before we go. And then if it's not, we'll wrap up the show on this and hope that Onana does become a Manchester United player. As I said, the United stand has it that this deal is probably going to happen. So it's exciting. But yeah, a lot of people saying Amrabat. I would be happy with Amrabat. I would be happy with any. I think both of them are a huge upgrade on what we've already got. But it is exciting. Anyway, guys, just to confirm the updates for you at the end of the show, a 34 million plus 5 million add-ons bid has been rejected. That is in pounds by Inter Milan, but verbal conversations continue. Morano said himself, it's very much open. Clubs are in contact. Man United and Inter will continue to talk, and the deal is very much on. This deal is probably going to happen. It's just whether the fee that we're going to get it for. Right now, I'm going to predict, get your predictions in, this is what we'll end the show on. I'm going to predict that we sign Onana for 50 million euros. No, I'm going to go a package of 50 million euros. Get in the comments what you think. And I think that would be a very, very fair price. And I think, again, Erik ten Hag is slowly building his squad. It's something to be excited by. But look, everyone, thank you guys for getting your comments in the chat. Thank you for all the super chats as per usual. Manchester United's transfer window is starting to get exciting. Mount's got the number 7. It's controversial. Onana looks like he's going to sign for Manchester United. We need now a here we go, and I think it could happen before we go on the pre-season tour next week. But thank you everyone for watching. Make sure you hit a like on the video if you're excited about getting the new signings in. Are you excited about Mount getting the number 7? And we'll see you guys on the next one. Updates to come.